voting in the sheriff's race in the primary. Have I clarified it? Does that help you understand why it's going to be the way it is and what you're going to see when you get your ballot?
So what you're saying, if it's on the ballot, you can vote?
Yes, sir. When you are issued your ballot, whatever is on there, you're eligible to vote on.
Will the ID have to file multiple voting?
Well, Florida has had a photo signature ID requirement for some time now. And what we're doing with the fast voter check-in that we're using, it is real time. Those machines, the clerk's machine has an air card, so when a person goes to the precinct and votes on election day, it updates it in our database right then as far as the fact that they have voted. So if they went to Noma and voted at the precinct and then tried to come to our office and vote, we would see that they've already voted. So that's a big benefit of that. And I'll just speak real quickly about, I know y'all have heard a lot about the non-citizens that are on the voter rolls in the state of Florida. The one thing that I will say about that is, thankfully, we didn't have one in Holmes County. But the state of Florida had those names last year in 2011. They had every one of the names that they have now. And we could have resolved all of this last year if the Department of State would have allowed us to. And like I said, we don't have any. But you think about the large counties that are trying to conduct elections now, and they're having to deal with all of that. And there's already a procedure in place. It would work just like our felon. We have to do voter maintenance, list maintenance, every odd year, which was last year. That's when we should have been dealing with it. But we deal with it daily in like convicted felons. If we get a notice from the clerk's office that a person is a convicted felon, even though they provide us with information that they are in Department of Corrections, we have to send them a certified letter. That's $4 or something to mail a letter to someone that we know where they're at. They're not going to get it if they're addressed. We have to send it. When it comes back undeliverable, we then have to run it in the legals in the Holmes County paper, and we have to give 30 days after that notice before we can remove them, even though we know they're in the Department of Corrections. And it would have worked the same way if they had sent out those names that are the non-citizens. The supervisors would have sent them a certified letter. If they didn't respond or didn't get it, it would go in the paper, and then after 30 days, they could have been removed. It's that simple. But they've made it so complicated because they sat on those names until we got into a presidential election year, and then they decided all of a sudden it's an issue. So just a little bit about that. It could have been handled a lot differently than it has been, and I don't think there's a supervisor in the state of Florida that doesn't want the voter rolls to be clean. We try to make sure that we get off the convicted felons, that we get the deceased voters off as soon as we can after we know that they've passed away. We work hard to try to keep those rolls current and clean.
How did the illegal aliens get on there in the first place, aren't they?
Well, through driver's license, and I don't understand all of it, but you can get a driver's license without being a citizen. But when you go to driver's license, they have to offer you the opportunity to register to vote. And somebody maybe can explain all of that a little better than me. But I know that. They're required, when you go in there, they're supposed to, even if you go in and change your address, they're supposed to ask you, do you want to change it for your voter registration as well? So if a person can get a driver's license that's a non-citizen, and like I said, I'm not sure how that works, but they tell us that's where it's coming from. It's when they register to vote at driver's license. But they found that the list is very flawed too. Some of the counties that started trying to process that have had people come in that have been citizens here forever that have received Purple Hearts, in the military, and they've been very upset because their citizenship was questioned. So that's the reason, if you've heard in the news, the Department of State's now trying to get access to the SAVE database that's used by the federal government to identify these people to make sure they are actually non-citizens. So it's, and the thing is, we get applications through driver's license. You can register at the library. You can register by mail. And if it's checked that they are a U.S. citizen and they've signed it, then we're required to process it. And then it shows up somewhere down the road if it's not.
One more question, Jay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, all these candidates on the clerk of court, they're all Democrats.
Yes, sir.
Where are the other names going to appear and when?
They will appear on the general ballot November the 6th.
November.
Yes, sir. And party order, just a quick note about the order that the names appear on the ballot. In a primary, they're in alphabetical order. That's required by law. They give us what our ballot layout has to be. I had someone say to me the other day, why can't my name be first? I mean, it's in alphabetical order. That's what's required. In a general election, it is determined by the party of the last governor elected. So in this general election, the Republicans will appear first, and then the Democrats, and then the candidates with no party affiliation fall into alphabetical order. So, but that's the reason. I mean, we don't decide who goes first or last or any of that. Everything is by statute. Does anybody else have any questions?
Is it true? I'll ask one more.
Okay, that's what I'm here for.
We vote for these guys, or one of these guys is on the list now.
Yes, sir.
And it come November, we can vote again
That's right.
for the same office.
That's right. Now, you won't get to vote, right, in the clerk's race? Is that right?
I'm a Republican.
Okay, so you won't get to vote in the clerk's race. This time, you'll get your opportunity in the general.
Well, you said we could vote on anything on here.
I said on your ballot, your issue when you go to the
I
poll,
won't get this guy.
You won't get this.
that's the sample ballot. That's just the sample that's going to be on your ballot. Sorry.
Just one in the middle.
That's how you got power.
Yeah, the one with the blue heading starts your
You can vote on one,
Vote in every precinct.
third, vote.
Okay. Did you have a question?
Have we ever had anybody from Holmes County non-party affiliation to open office?
Not during the time I've been here. I've been here almost 16 years, and we haven't had that many people run with no party affiliation. We've never had anybody elected since I've been here.
Is this the first time, is it a new law, I guess is what I'm saying, is that the no party affiliation candidates have they never had to have a primary? Has that always been the case, or?
No, you only have Democratic and Republican primaries. Florida's a closed primary state. Now, if you have one of the minor parties that had several candidates running, then they would have a primary. But Florida's a closed primary state, so you have to vote the ballot for the party that you were registered with at the time the books closed. But no party affiliation, since they aren't affiliated with anybody. I mean, they're running that way, even though they may be registered with party affiliation, they're running based on no party affiliation, then they automatically go on. If there was 10 of them, all 10 would go to the general. Anybody else have any questions? But that, like I said, the reason that we put all the ballot styles in the sample ballot is because it saves money to do it that way. And that's the reason. The reason for the blue and the yellow, when you go to the polls and receive your ballot, the Democratic ballot is solid white. The Republican ballot has a blue sidebar, and the Democratic ballot has a yellow the nonpartisan ballot has a yellow sidebar on it. So that's the reason we put the headings the way we did in the sample ballot. So that you'll notice maybe when you go to the polls that your real ballot has that same color on it, just to kind of help you know. We try to color code everything too to help our poll workers. That's a way to help them. We've made like color charts. And I know sometimes it sounds like we're being very elementary with that. We have wonderful poll workers, but you have to remember they do this every other year. And we go through the training. They go through 2 to 3 hours of poll worker training before each election. But still, it's not something they do every day, and they have a very long day. They work from 6 a.m. until after the polls close at 7. They have paperwork to do, and I will say one more thing, and then I know y'all are probably ready, but people get real anxious on election night. I said, I feel like I'm in a fishbowl because there's a glass window that you can look through between the public and where I'm reading in results. And I look and I just see all these eyes. Everybody is so anxious. But we tell our poll workers we strive for accuracy, not speed, number one. I mean, I don't want to have to face the media the next day and say our results aren't right because our poll workers were trying to get it to us quickly and,